You know what's great about better? It makes things like more and healthier and stronger happen. When better is your calling, you're never satisfied or sitting idle. We live for better. The way we see it, we're not here just to help grow crops, conserve water, preserve wildlife, or fuel an economy. To us, it's more than just making the headlines. It's about what's written here, here, and here. We're putting nutritious food on supermarket shelves. We're helping hard-working Floridians earn a better living. And we're creating a culture of learning where we educate leaders and give the next generation a future full of possibility. We've got better down to a science, and we're here to share it with all 19 million Floridians.
Good afternoon. And for those of you here in Orlando, welcome to beautiful Florida and Orlando. And for those of you who are not here, we apologize you're not able to take advantage of the beautiful weather that we're having here right now. This video that we just showed you is part of our attempt of really trying to have a much better engagement and involvement and connection with our constituents. That video that you just saw is all about being better, and that's us, right? Better is our calling. We have better down to a science. We live for better. And frankly, we in the land grant system and extension are never satisfied. Peter Drucker, who many of you are familiar with, has stated about where we are today as a society and in organizations, in that we really do need to be focused on entrepreneurship, and we are in an entrepreneurial age. And I would challenge us in extension in the land grant system. This is something that we really do need to take heed to and think about how this is going to affect us as individuals as well as our institutions. This slide depicts some of the many, many factors that are affecting extension today. I think as you look around this circle, there's a lot of these things that many of us can identify with. As you think about the social trends that are going on today and how they affect our society, how do they affect us in extension? Think about how technology affects the work that we do today versus the work that we did 10, 20 years ago. And as a matter of fact, how is it going to affect the work that we do 5, 10, 15 years from now? Another one is our elected officials. And you think about the tremendous things that are happening at the national, state, and local level, and how that affects us and our work, and the kind of impacts that we need to show in relation to the work that we do in extension. We are and do have a new public sector mandate at this time. Another thing that Peter Drucker has pointed out is that from 1875 to the 1930s is when a lot of social innovation institutions were put in place. Those of you who know our history know that that's when we started the land grant system. That's when we started extension. But as you think over our 100 years, we are in a totally different time and place now. I would say we are just as relevant, if not more relevant, today as we were 100 plus years ago. As you think about some of the huge challenges that are facing society today. But our challenge is, how are we going to step up to the plate, be innovative, be entrepreneurial, and really address these in a real focused kind of manner? So what does it mean to be entrepreneurial? I think you can hone it into 3 of these factors that I have listed here. One is about being innovative, and we heard speakers earlier today talking about what does it mean to be innovative and thinking about how we connect with audiences in different ways. You heard Bill Hoffman talk about his dad, Lynn, who I worked with, about really starting up some of those new technologies related to no-till, which was innovative at that time. What are the innovative things we need to be working on today with farmers, families, and youth? How can we be proactive of addressing some of these big vexing issues that are facing our clientele? Perhaps their climate change, or how are we going to feed a growing population in a safe and sustainable kind of way? I also want to point out this point about risk-taking. How comfortable are we as individuals of taking risk and doing things different ways and saying that, okay, this particular program maybe has served its time and now I need to move on and do something new and different to address this issue in a different way. And there also is an organizational aspect to that as well. In our extension organizations, we need to have the foresight and the stomach to take on risk-taking. And that's something that we really need to seriously consider. As you think about entrepreneurialism, one of the things I like to hone in on is an entrepreneurial culture. And there's several factors related to that. That includes being flexible. It includes being adaptable. It includes being proactive in regards to how we look at our work and the work that needs to be done with new and diverse audiences as well as traditional audiences. It involves being creative and innovative about how we go about that work. But it also is about being connected and engaged. And frankly, that's probably one of the things that really has set Extension apart over our 100-plus year history is that focus that we have about really engaging and involving our clientele to understand their needs at their level and then targeting our educational programs to bring about behavior change. Our land-grant university commitment, not only at the University of Florida, but all of our land-grant universities, is to achieve greater public good through higher education. That's why we are here. That's why the land-grant university system started. So why is this so important to us now? Why are we really drawing attention to this? One of the first things I would lay out there as a challenge to us is that public support for higher education is waning, and that we're getting a lot of questions on that. People are wondering, why are we investing so much in higher education? And frankly, there's people that are wondering, has Extension served its time? I say not, but those are some of the questions that we're getting. I think we also need to increase public visibility and the value of what we do. There's too many people that have lost sight of that and are not really seeing the public good of what we do as a land-grant university and specifically what we do in Extension. The last thing I would put out there is that there are other institutions that are seeing some of these things as opportunities and they're picking up the slack. And that is, like it or not, this is happening. What are we going to be doing about that? And what kind of steps are we going to take to ensure that there's not other people that are stepping into our sandbox and doing the kind of things that we should be doing? So what is the University of Florida doing about this? Well, there's several things, and there's a few of these I want to point out here to you this afternoon. One of the things that we have just started here in the last year is we just did some goal setting, and of our 7 overarching goals, we've had a specific and intentional goal in relation to community engagement. That's community engagement at the local level, state level, national level, international level. And that's really about how do we bring greater public good, greater public value to this research university at the University of Florida. We also are doing a lot of focused branding and marketing that really is aimed to help people understand about the public good of the land-grant university system and how this latest research and knowledge that we generate can affect lives, can affect individuals. But we also are working on something that we call UF engagement, and that is how do we more intentionally engage the broader whole university with the work that we do through our cooperative extension system. So this is what UF engagement really means to us, and that is capitalizing on all of the research and knowledge that we generate across our vast land-grant university system for the public good, so that it doesn't just sit in labs or on a shelf or in a journal, but we get it out there and help people apply that to their lives. And a lot of that is really facilitated on appropriate two-way communication, and that is engaging and connecting with clientele to understand their needs and how we can be addressing those needs from a research perspective. This will give a pictorial of what we're trying to do at the University of Florida. Down on the bottom is our Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, where Cooperative Extension is housed, and that's really at the foundation and base of what we do in Extension, has been for over 100 years. But we're intentionally engaging with other parts of campus with health sciences through like public health and the College of Medicine and pharmacy and dentistry, as well as other academic departments with engineering, business, law, and other entities to really have a much higher and greater level of public engagement. Some of our long-term goals that we're focusing on are things such as putting together a clearinghouse of possibilities, and frankly, we're aiming towards a dashboard of possibilities that would be out there for the public to utilize. We're focusing on landing some funding for some focused positions located around the university, honing in on engagement, and particularly in that involvement with Extension. We are putting together some possibilities of engagement symposia and conferences to focus on the scholarship of engagement. We're intentionally publicizing and recognizing efforts that we're doing. And then this boils down to really having a strong, seamless connection with communities that truly do advance the public good. So, what is in this for Extension? I would say there's quite a few things in my mind that are in this for Extension, and particularly as I think about our University of Florida IFAS Extension. It's going to bring about things such as greater connectedness, greater recognition, greater visibility, greater support, greater collaborations and partnerships out there. But I think most of all, y'all, it's our future. And this is really what it boils down to, and thinking about the kind of organization that we should be into the future. So, I would like you to kind of think about and reflect on these couple of questions that I have here, and we'll have some opportunity during the Q&A to have some discussion on these. And those of you that are online and in the virtual meeting, feel free to put those in the Q&A box or chat box. And the first of these is, how could or should Extension advance an entrepreneurial culture? Kind of getting at what our first speakers talked about. And secondly, in an ideal world, what kind of opportunities do you see for Extension engagement with the larger land-grant university campus, as well as other partners that are out there that we could be and should be working with? So lastly, as I bring this to a close, I want to share with you one other video that we have put together. And this is an example from our natural resources area. And it exemplifies, again, how we are aiming to have this strong connection with our public. And one of the things I love about it is in here we talk about every day we're ready to get our hands dirty on work on behalf of, for you.
We're fortunate to be planted in this soil, to grow underneath these skies, to be passed from hand to market to table. We are proud to nourish bodies by developing plant varieties that grow across the globe. Proud to develop minds by teaching the value of nutritious meals. Proud to develop the science behind making food taste better and stay fresher longer. Every day, we're ready to get our hands dirty, to feel the sweat on our brow, to make today's yield better than yesterday's. So the farms, families, and communities of our state can flourish.